I'm Scott Patterson with your Time Warner Cable News Minute. Well, we are starting the work week out like so many others this winter, very cold. They want to see education funding restored, specifically a round of school aid cuts made in 2011. Russian President Vladimir Putin says Russia's presence in Ukraine is in response to a coup that overthrew the legitimate Ukrainian government. Calling hours continued this afternoon for the Marine who died in a California car crash. The Bills are introducing variable ticket pricing for next season. That means the price of each ticket will reflect the demand for that game. The Twitter flitter of a picture from last night's Academy Awards show caused the popular social media website to crash. Let's not bite the hand that feeds us. This is progress. We'll take 20s for now. Oh man, you feel it as soon as you walk out there. It warms the soul.
It does.
We're going to let you know how much more soul warming we have ahead of us. Dan's forecast is straight ahead. This is Time Warner Cable News all morning. I'm Scott Patterson with your Time Warner Cable News Minute. Buffalo fire investigators aren't yet sure what caused a fire late last night on Sirott Street that killed a man. The unidentified victim and a dog were found dead in the home. The race for governor is expected to take shape today. Westchester County Executive Rob Astorino is supposed to announce whether he will challenge Andrew Cuomo. A young Clarence boy is getting a lot of support in his fight against brain cancer. Family members of 4-year-old Ben Sauer are hopeful for the best despite a grim prognosis. Today is Ash Wednesday, which marks the start of the Lenten season for many Christians. The wearing of ashes on the forehead and giving up of certain foods are among the observances during the season of sacrifice. And more change could be coming for the Sabres today. The NHL trade deadline is at 3 this afternoon. Good Wednesday morning. Your top stories for this March 5th are on the way after we check your Weather on the Ones forecast. It's going to be another unseasonably cold day for Buffalo and Niagara Falls with breaks of sun and just a few spotty flurries. Highs will only be around 20. Tonight there will be clearing skies with lows in the single digits. Jamestown, Dunkirk, and Olean will pick up limited sun with highs in the upper teens and lower 20s. Tonight will be frigid with clearing skies, lows in the single digits above and below zero. The Bills are bidding Canada adieu, at least for now. Several media outlets are reporting this morning the team will not play a game in Toronto in 2014. Buffalo had played one regular game per year in the Rogers Centre the past 6 seasons, but dwindling attendance combined with the team's poor performance north of the border may be the reason for the move this season. The Buffalo News and WGR 550 report fans will instead see 8 games at Ralph Wilson Stadium. The Bills had entered a 5-year deal last winter to continue the Bills-Toronto series. There's no word yet what this means in regards to that deal. We've reached out to parties on both sides for comment. Investigators are still working this morning to figure out what caused a fatal fire in Buffalo late last night. The fire started in this Sirott Street home around 10 p.m. Firefighters say an unidentified man in his 40s or 50s was found dead in the home along with a dog.
Very difficult to do that tonight.
The fire caused more than $100,000 worth of damage. Westchester County Executive Rob Astorino is expected to announce today whether he'll run for governor. He plans to announce the decision with a video news release. Astorino's decision could determine the political futures of both Donald Trump, who has said he will only run with unified GOP backing, and Carl Palladino. The Buffalo developer says he's not backing off his promise to challenge Astorino if Astorino doesn't call for the removal of the top elected Republicans in the Senate and Assembly. Following State Conservative Party Chairman Mike Long's comments in support of Astorino, Palladino now says he'd run on a fourth party line of his creation.
I don't know why Mike Long took the position that he is going to run for this office.
You may have read some stories here.
Party leaders will officially endorse a candidate at the GOP convention in mid-May. Today is Ash Wednesday, which begins the Christian season of Lent. At the Vatican, Pope Francis will observe his first Ash Wednesday as leader of the Catholic Church. Here in Buffalo, Bishop Richard Malone will give out ashes at the noon mass at St. Joseph Cathedral downtown. Church guidelines ask Catholics not to eat meat and to only eat one meal on Ash Wednesday. The ashes placed on people's foreheads signify repentance before God.
The ashes go back over the next 40 days.
Father John Mack says Lent is not just about repenting, but about people giving themselves more freely to help others. The Episcopal Church of Western New York wants to make it easier for people to get ashes today. The church has expanded its Ashes to Go program to 17 locations across the region. The service began last year. Pastors visit central locations in various communities and offer the service to those who might not have time to stop at church. Ashes to Go will be available in Erie, Niagara, and Chautauqua counties. For a link to the full list of times and locations, head to our website, twcnews.com. A Clarence couple is dealing with heartache as their son deals with cancer. Now people across the globe are turning to the power of prayer to help. 4-year-old Benjamin Sauer was diagnosed with an aggressive brain tumor in early February. He underwent brain surgery soon after, during which doctors removed half the tumor, but it has since tripled in size. His family is praying for a miracle.
We know that God is able, so we were just grow up, but we're trying to be open to the fact that God doesn't owe us anything, and these things happen all the time, and the only reaction, the only choice we have is how we're going to choose to respond.
Friends of the family have organized a benefit for Benjamin. It's called Blue for Ben because it's his favorite color and the color he wears to differentiate himself from his twin brother, Jack. The benefit will take place Sunday at the chapel at Cross Point in Gettsville. If you can't make it, you can always follow Ben's fight on Facebook. More than 14,000 people across the U.S. and across the world are sending in positive wishes and prayers. For more information on how you can help or to learn more, you can head to twcnews.com. Buffalo City community and education leaders will give an update this morning on the Say Yes to Education program. Specifically, they'll reveal how many students from Say Yes Buffalo's first class have gone on to college. Last fall, the program reported 900 students at least pursued higher education out of 1,700 students enrolled in Say Yes. This morning's update is open to the public. It begins at 8:30 at True Bethel Baptist Church on East Ferry Street. Today is the NHL trade deadline. Teams have until 3 o'clock this afternoon to complete any deals. After moving Ryan Miller and Steve Ott to St. Louis last week, the Sabres are widely expected to have more deals in the works. How many moves, though, is anybody's guess at this point. The Canadian Press has 5 current Sabres on its list of 10 players most likely to move by the deadline. Kevin Carroll and our entire sports team will be on Trade Watch all day. They'll have details and reaction. And make sure to tune in for a live call-in edition of Hockey Tonight. Andrew Peters will join Kevin from 6:30 to 7:30 this evening. Well, you're saying still unseasonably cold, but it's a little better.
Yeah, yesterday we started out with temperatures at and below freezing in most spots. Of course, tying the record low temperature. Not the record you really want to be talking about breaking.
No.
Well, today, a little bit of a milder start, but temperatures overall aren't going to be warming all that much. So we're starting out with the teens, but we're looking at highs only around 20. So a handful of degrees here as far as warming up towards
Take
this
it where
afternoon.
we can get it, right? Team President Russ Brandon announced this morning Buffalo will not play a game in Toronto in 2014.
Brandon is addressing the media now about the decision at One Bills Drive. Let's listen in.
All right, that is where we will cut back in here. Russ Brandon talking about positives and negatives with the Toronto series. The positives being that the Bills got a lot of fans from Southern Ontario. He said that Southern Ontario is now the second secondary market, actually in front of Rochester right now as far as Bills fans. But you could always sense that the fans never really warmed up to this game. He specifically referenced the Atlanta game from this past season, where it seemed as though there were just as many, if not more, Falcons fans in the stands than there were Bills fans. So
again, the Bills are 1-5, their record in Toronto, so they are postponing this year's Toronto game for at least 1 year. We'll wait to see what happens after that.
Absolutely. Meg Rossman is there covering it, as is our sports team, which is also busy with the NHL trade deadline at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So busy sports day here in Western New York. Keep it right here with Time Warner Cable News for the latest.